Welcome everybody. In this lesson, we are going to set up and use your insurance plan and provider tracker template. Yes, it's a mouthful, but I'm telling you, this tracker is going to help you just have some peace of mind that all of your insurance coverage information, as well as your provider or doctor information, is all in one place and at your fingertips for whenever you need it, either for open enrollment that you will have to do every single year. And we'll get to that in the open enrollment tutorial if you haven't gone to that one yet, but there's a prep checklist there as well that this pairs very well with. So it supports that specific period of choosing your benefits every year. And then on the flip side, if you ever have any kind of medical emergencies, it's best to have all of this information right there at your fingertips. So what's on our agenda for this exercise? First, we are going to complete the Insurance Tracker tab. And this includes all of the information regarding your insurance company, your plan information, payment details specifically for in-network providers, and your information storage. Then we are going to conclude with completing the Provider Tracker tab. And this tab holds all information about your provider and care details. When you're ready, get your tracker out, have your laptop open and your phone nearby so that you can access all of your information about your insurance plans and your providers and log it here in this template. For good, once and for all. Let's do this. So when you open the document, you're going to see 3 tabs. It's going to be the instructions tab, which is basically just the background and the purpose of this document. If you ever need it as reference, hopefully it is meant for you to help you organize all of this information. And then you have 2 tabs in which you're going to use as the trackers. So it is the insurance tracker, where you're going to record all of your plans and their policy information. And then there's the provider tracker, where you're going to track all of your doctor, specialist, and care details here. First, click into that insurance tracker tab. This is where you're going to log your insurance coverage. So like I said, we're going to look at a fictional example. Let's take it step by step. First, you have your basic information. You're going to write your name in the top right so that you know who this belongs to. Oh, and P.S. if you want to duplicate this exercise for any of your family members, please go do that. Please share this with them and give them the opportunity to do this for themselves. I'm telling you, they're going to thank you. Or if you have dependents or if you are in control of a lot of your family members' insurance, duplicate this file and repeat this exercise for them as well. You'll be really happy that it's all in one place. And that's why the name box is up at the top right so that you can identify who this sheet is for. You can either name the file with their name, or you can just keep a bunch of different tabs in this one document and you can change the name at the top of the page so that you know which tab applies to who. Okay, back to it. Now you have also today's date. So we can see that our girl, Weather Desert, updated this on November 1st, 2025 during her benefits enrollment period. So this is going to help you know the last time that you touched this file and edited the information. You are going to list out the insurance company and category information. So under the category of insurance, choose like medical, dental, vision, life, auto, etc. There's a bunch of pre-populated ones. Feel free to edit to any alternative insurance categories that you may have that are not featured here. So we can see that there are several lines filled out in this table belonging to Weather Desert. She only opts in for the insurance that she's currently using. So we can see that some of these rows don't matter. So if we look at each line, you can see she calls out the company name, the point of contact, contact's phone number, email address, company website link, just really important information that you want to make sure that you store also in your phone contact list, just in case you ever need immediate assistance from your insurance companies. Your first batch of action items is to add your name and today's date at the top of the sheet. Fill out the insurance company section, including each company name, contact information, and important links. All right, so let's scroll over to the right a little bit more to the plan information section. So here you're going to record the plan or policy details, the name, the title, etc. Add the coverage start and end date. The coverage duration will automatically populate. Most insurance contracts are about a year. Some may be longer or shorter, so this is helpful to know whenever you need to renew your insurance coverage. Since Weather is updating all of her insurance during open enrollment, her health-related insurances will kick in the new year, but she does make a point to renew any of her other insurances, which are also listed here for like her home and her auto insurance, just so that it's very easy as like a one-time exercise for a refresh for all of her insurance policies. Next, you'll see the financing information. Your health insurances usually can leverage an HSA or an FSA card. We'll cover that in the insurance course, but otherwise, you're usually just going to pay out of pocket. Sometimes there might be other account information that you want to list here, so do that as you will, but mostly your premiums will come from either your employee paycheck if you are employed, or if you're self-employed, you're going to be paying that yourself from one of your own accounts. It could also be something that could be tax deductible. You might want to talk with your CPA if you are self-employed and want to deduct your medical premiums from your tax bill. So let's get back to weather. Then she's going to mark some of the explanation of benefits details, like the total payout for the plan covers, and other routine coverage details. This is really helpful to jot down some notes just whenever you have to come back next year and check your coverage. And it allows you to just very quickly see if that coverage is still going to satisfy your needs, and just to make sure that that plan actually offers that same coverage, or hopefully better in the future as well.
So the action item here is to fill out the plan information section, including details about each insurance policy, coverage, associated payment accounts, your explanation of benefits or EOBs, and important links.
And then the next section in this tab, it covers the payment details. So starting with the premium, this is the amount that you're going to pay monthly, just to make sure that the insurance plan is in good standing and that you can keep it. So then you have the number of premium payments. You want to answer how many payments in a year. It's usually 12, but there are some instances where you might have an alternate payment schedule. So like our girl Weather here, she pays for her home insurance and then her car insurance 2 times a year. For most of your medical premiums, you're going to pay it 12 times a year, just once a month. And then that will automatically give you a calculation of your total premium cost that you can anticipate and expect to pay for your plans for a year. So for Weather, she's paying about $5,100 per year, which you may think like, wow, that's a lot. But in regards to what it could be if you don't have insurance, it's a pretty reasonable amount to pay. So next, you're going to add these fields or take notes as they apply. But you can see here, she writes some notes, whether or not she has a deductible, coinsurance, copay, out-of-pocket max. These are usually a part of your health plans, just FYI, but sometimes these terms come up in other insurance plans. So just note here what makes sense. Otherwise, you can just put NA if it doesn't apply to you. And also some will be percentages. Some are going to have fixed rates. So just make sure that these fields capture your details out adequately. And really quick, we covered this in depth in the course, but just for like high level context on these payment terms. So you have a deductible. This is the amount of money that you're going to pay before your insurance plan kicks in. And then you have your copay in regards to you. This is a flat amount that you would pay at certain types of visits. So for example, if your copay is like $50 and you go to an urgent care facility, it doesn't matter what it's for. You pay the $50 for the visit. And that's it. And then the insurance covers the rest of the bill. You have coinsurance. After you meet your deductible, this is the percent that determines what you would pay versus what your insurance will pay for each bill until you reach your out-of-pocket max. So whenever you spend this amount of money, which yes, it's usually a lot, then your insurance is going to take over 100% of the bill for the rest of the year. So just kind of like a fun like life hack. If you're planning to ever have a baby, if you do it in the beginning of the year, most likely you're going to hit your out-of-pocket max, and then all of your doctor's visits for the rest of the year are going to be free. I say free, but covered by insurance essentially. So just like a little life hack.
Fill out the payment details section, including rates for coverage and specifically for medical plans, care for in-network providers. Review the total premium cost anticipated for each year, just for your own knowledge and benefit.
And then last but not least on this tab, we have your physical and your digital information section. So take note where you store your physical insurance ID cards and financial insurance cards, as well as any digital copies in the apps. And for the physical cards, it's a really good practice to keep them on you somewhere handy in case of an emergency. So like in this example, whether she keeps them in her purse and backpack, and this could also be like a wallet. And then add your link to your explanation of benefits. And I would say download a PDF to the same folder that you are storing this current document here. Going to be really important. And then if you have any other notes, you can add them in the last column as you see fit. Whether right here, she writes that there are a couple premium deduction programs. Super, super important. If you ever get the chance to do the premium deduction programs, go ahead and take them because it lessens the amount of money that you're going to pay every year to keep your insurance. So try to do them as you can. So these are all just like extra little notes that she has here to remember for whenever it's time for her to review her insurance plans and make sure that these are still what she needs in the following year.
And finally, fill out the information storage section, including where physically or digitally you plan to store your policy information.
So make sure that you take time outside this video or during this video to pause and actually write this information in for yourself. Trust me, you're going to be so happy that you took the time to do this exercise so that all of it's right there for reference and that you can easily update it as needed. All right, so now we're going to move to the provider tab. This is where you're going to track all of your information about your doctors. If you have any other providers from any other insurance, like go ahead and add them here, but mostly this is just going to be like your health professionals that you want to keep tabs on all of their information. So let's jump in. Step by step. First, make sure you add your name and today's date for record keeping purposes. And again, you can duplicate this template for any family members and change out the names to keep a record for anybody else's providers as well. Next, we have two very quick sections here. So first, you have the provider information information section. Make sure you add the category of insurance and then the provider's professional title or specialty. So this could be like your primary care physician, your dentist, your therapist, etc. Add their name, contact information, including their email and phone number, any of their office information like their address, and relevant websites or patient portals here. And we can see here that all of Weather's visits are in person except for one of her providers, which is her therapist that she does through a telehealth platform. All right, so that's everything for your provider details. Now we're just going to shift into your care details. So let's go ahead and look at, you have your plan network status. This is if they are in or out of network. You're going to want to make sure that you always have providers that are in network. It's going to cost you more if they're out of network. So just do your due diligence about looking at your insurance plans and seeing which doctors actually accept your specific insurance plans that you either have right now or plan to take in the future, because you don't want to pay out of pocket or out of network costs. It's not fun whenever you could have had a doctor that was in network that would have been significantly less or covered by your insurance. So keep that in mind. Like, for example, here, Weather is seeing that her dentist does not take her insurance policy anymore. So they are out of network and she needs to go find a new dentist in the future, or she needs to change her plan to a plan that dentist would take. Moving on, we have your appointment frequency. So you're going to add the number of times that you expect to go in a year, annually, quarterly, monthly, just whatever's needed. And then whenever you go, you want to list how much you expect to pay for your out-of-pocket costs. So these are like your typical costs per the visit that your insurance does not cover. And then we have a column that will auto-calculate how much you can anticipate to spend in a year based off of how many times that you're going to go and how much you're going to pay per time. It's going to just spit out the opportunity for you to see how much that you're looking at spending out of pocket in a year for your medical visits. And then if there's any other additional care cost notes or details, you can list them in these columns here. There's also just a plain note section if there's any other miscellaneous details that you want to capture about your providers. So for Weather, we see that she has some notes about her care cost limitations, and then she also has some details on her care plans with these providers as well. First, again, add your name and today's date at the top of the sheet. And second, fill out the provider information section, including your details about the contact, the office location, and important links regarding your providers. And your very last action item to wrap up the entire worksheet is to fill out the care details section, including information about the provider's network status regarding your insurance plan, your anticipated visits for the year and associated costs, and any other important care details. Review the anticipated out-of-pocket cost per year just for your benefit to anticipate those upcoming medical costs. Okay, and that's it. There you have it. So thank you so much for being here. Make sure that you take a couple minutes just to go through and plug in your own information. I'm telling you, you're going to be so happy that you did whenever it's open enrollment season, or if you ever need your medical information at your fingertips. Just to recap what you now have as you finish this exercise. First, a super clear tracker of all of your insurance policy information, contact, and payment details in one place. And second, you also have a simple summary to quickly find all of your healthcare provider information, again, all in one place in a nice, neat table. Next year, whenever you need to re-enroll for your insurance, as you do every year, all of your information is already here at your fingertips instead of being buried in your email or text messages or maybe a stack of paper somewhere. And again, if you want to do this for your family, please go ahead and share this template with them and make sure that they have the opportunity to do this exercise too. And store it somewhere that you can easily access it for just any time that you need your information right there to reference. On that note, make sure that you store it in your phone too. After you fill it out, have it somewhere very easily accessible. If you put it in like Google Drive, Google Docs, something like that, or in a cloud-based app of some sort, you can easily just go click on this file and find this information right there or update it on the fly. So I hope this helps keep all of your details straight and just makes everything like a little bit more efficient. That's it for now. And whenever you're done, I will see you in the next lesson.